What's up, guys? Today I'm going to show you a typical reparation of a house plug. When we moved in here, we noticed that one of the plugs in the bedroom was controlled fully the top and the bottom by the switch on the wall. So it makes things a little bit tedious to have to turn off the lamp and then remember to keep the switch on so that my girlfriend can charge her phone. And today I'm going to show you exactly what to do if you have a similar problem at home, how to repair this problem safely, efficiently, and for the least amount of money possible. So right now we have the two plugs on the top, and you can see that the bottom one is working and so is the top one, and that's because the light switch is off. So if we can, the light switch is on. So if we turn the light switch off, you'll see the top has stopped working, and the bottom one as well. So first things first, in order to protect ourselves and make sure that we're safe, the most important part when working with electricity is you have to shut off the power, and I don't mean at the switch, I'm talking about at the breaker. So if you're only one person doing this, the easiest way to do it is to get a lamp and plug it in. When you turn the light on, now you have a point of reference to tell you that you have the right breaker. So let's get down to the panel and we'll turn the power off. Okay, so here's an electrical panel for the house. The easiest way to do it is if the panel card is actually written out properly. You want to identify which breaker is working the plug that you're working on, and then simply turn it off like you would any other switch. If you don't have the panel card written out, the best thing to do if you have two people is to have someone in the room taking a look at the light, and you just take wild guesses as to which one you're turning off, and as soon as the light goes off, that's the one you want. If you don't have somebody working with you, you can turn the power off to the entire home, which effectively kills everything, and you should be good to go after that. So here in this panel, I've identified the breaker that I need to turn off as circuit number 10. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off circuit number 10, and the power in the bedroom is now off, and it's safe for us to work. Okay, so after shutting on the power, you can see that the switch is on, but there is no more power in this plug. So fingers crossed that we did get the proper breaker. What we're going to do is we're going to open it up now and take a look. While I'm doing this, I'll give you a quick little overview of exactly what's happening behind here. Is that whoever installed this plug put both of them, the top and the bottom, on a single outlet, on a single control wire. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut the bridge, and we're going to power up most likely the top one with 24-hour power, which means it's not controlled by the light switch. This little piece of foam, that's pretty outdated. You don't really need that, so that's garbage. One of the handy pieces of equipment I like to use, it's a Penn voltmeter. There's a couple of good ones on the line. Fluke makes one. This is a Fluke. This will run you about $34 at your local electrical supply store. Or Gardner Bender makes one also. You can buy these for about $12 at Home Depot. They both work. They do the same thing. You hit the button on this one to turn it on and check for voltage. Or you have the Fluke, which is a little bit more sensitive, a little bit more reliable, and does basically the same thing. So now that we know there's no power at the plug, we can start unscrewing it, and I'll show you what I was talking about before. Okay, so here's our plug. We have our two white wires. These are the neutrals. Generally doesn't carry any power. And our power line right here is the red wire. And set up like this, the red wire is the control, and the black wire would be the constant power, which is we're going to be adding here. So the next thing you want to do is I like to always double check and triple check. So I'm taking my pen tester, and I'm making sure that the black wire that's inside here, as you can see it here, doesn't have any power. Make sure that the breaker that we used, that we turned off, is actually the one that's controlling here. So after making sure that there's no power, what we want to do is we want to remove all the wires to the plug. Just to make it easier to work, we're taking everything out. Also, I want to show you an up close of that bridge that I was talking about. So this is your typical plug setup. This doesn't matter if it's old or new. Every plug is the same way. It has the brass wires, which is for the black or the hot wires, and the silver wires that are for the white or neutral wires. And this little bridge right here, this little piece of metal, connects the top and the bottom, and that's what we're going to cut. We're going to get rid of that right now. And that's it, and that's all it takes. That makes the top and the bottom independent from one another. So when we go back to reinstall the plug, we're going to see the difference between just having the red wire and the red and the black. There's one thing I do want to mention. Typically in old homes like this, you'll find the copper wire is a little bit black or charred. This could be from back in the day. There was maybe a little bit of a short circuit, but I don't see any discoloration inside the box. So that's probably just the wire with age and dust and dirt. You can either clean it off with your hands, or if you have pliers, you could just give it a little scrapey scrape. Not too hard, you don't want to damage the copper. You just clean off that until you get a nice copper look back into it. Okay, so now we have our wires as they were before, but now the black wire, there are two of them, and you don't really want to put 2 wires per screw because it won't hold very well. Now I kind of anticipated this happening, so I cut up about 8 inches of your standard 14 gauge electrical wire, the black color, because I figured it would be the black, which it normally is. And we're just going to strip this one off here. Move these out of the way. We're just going to tie it in to here, to this one. This is very important. This is why we turned off the power, because if there was power here, we'd now be working on a live circuit. But we shut it down so there's no problem. I mean, you can touch it, you can hit it to ground, it's not going to do anything. Just be careful to actually make sure, be 100% sure that the power is in fact off. Otherwise, if you short yourself or put yourself to ground, or if you short out the wire by accident, you're going to have a bad day. So now that this black wire is attached, we're just going to give it a little push with our thumb to the back of the box to get it out of the way. And now we have our black wire ready to go. So the reverse process, I'm just going to loosen up this screw here. I guess you could say it's out of a force of habit. Well, when I do any sort of electrical work, I like to start, there's a pattern. I usually go with the ground, the white, and then the hots. Just makes things easier for consistency. So I know I don't forget anything. So now that we have our ground, the ground is always on the same side as the neutral. And the neutral line, you can always be identified as when the ground is up. The larger of the two prongs is on the left. So that makes things a little easier if the screws are missing or if they're all the same color. Generally, they're not all the same color, so I don't think you'll have a problem with that. But that's just a little tip for you to know, just in case. So there we go, we have our neutrals and our grounds connected. Now we're going to work on the live wires. So which one is the controlled wire and which one is the live wire? So with the grounds facing down, we want the control to be on the bottom. So we know our control is the red. And make sure the red is in there nice and snug. And our live wire is going to be the black. And the black, we're going to put it in the top making sure that it's nice and snug and it doesn't connect the two. If it does, it's entirely possible that it's not going to short circuit. It'll just bring constant power to here because it's on the same phase of the house. So our coppers are separate. They're in, they're nice and tight, and we can go and put this back into the box. And when you put a plug back into the box, you don't just take it and you shove it in, because then the wires get everywhere. What I like to do is I like to guide the wires with my hands, lifting it up and down, just to make sure that it doesn't get pinched anywhere. And that also helps avoiding having to put tape around the plug. If you do it properly, you don't need any tape around the sides of the plug at all. Now that that's in there, just give a quick look on the sides and make sure the screws aren't touching the side of the box. And we can go ahead and put our cover plate back on. It's a little bit loose for my liking. You don't want to tighten the plate screw too much or you're going to crack the plate. So just make sure it's nice and in there, nice and straight. So that's it. Now I'm going to go turn the power back on and make sure everything's working correctly. And there you have it. The top plug is on, and with the light switch off, the bottom plug should be off as well. And the bottom switch is off. So if we turn the switch back on, you'll see there's the power. This plug is now correctly installed. And what we're going to want to do afterwards, I get this room back together, I'm going to be putting the lamp on the bottom, because that's the one I want to control. And her iPhone charger is going to go to the top, where there's constant power, so she doesn't have to worry about the light switch being on while the lamp is off and just confusing everybody. So that's this week's tip. Couple key things to take away is, remember, I can't stress it enough, turn the power off. If you can't find the individual breaker, turn the main house off. If the main house breaker is not there, there should be a switch. Turn the switch off if you have one of those old fuse panels. Just make sure the power is off, because with that, then there's no problems with you getting injured or getting sent to hospital. Trust me, I've gotten shocked more than a few times in my career, and it's not fun. It doesn't tickle, it hurts a little bit, and you just really want to make sure that the power is off. I can't stress that enough. Just turn off the power. Second thing, a couple of useful tools, and everything that I used today was a plug tester. If you don't have a plug tester, a lamp, that'll do. Anything without a motor. So hair dryers I wouldn't recommend. Everybody's got lamps laying around, desk lamp, floor lamp, whatever it is. Just use a lamp instead of this. That'll be fine. The pen testers. You have the higher quality one and the lower quality one. They both do the same job. This one's a little bit more professional grade. This one's the homeowner's grade. Like I said, you can buy them at Home Depot for between $12 and $15. And it's come in handy. I can tell you how often this little guy has saved my life more than once. Other tools I used was side cutters, pliers, and a flat screwdriver, and that's basically all you need. This is pretty standard stuff that every homeowner should have in their home repair kit. Also, we used a bit of 8-inch 14 gauge standard house wire. I used colored black just to keep the colors the same, and you can use white if you want, but why would you want to confuse anyone else in the future or yourself? I mean, use the color that's required. Use the black. And that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give me a thumbs up. And if you hit that thumbs up button, share this video with your friends and help spread the word. And hopefully we'll keep people safe while they're working on electrical systems in their house. If you've done any work on your house, drop a comment down below. If you have any other questions or comments, again, comment down below and let me know what your home improvement story or home improvement horror stories are. Those are always fun to read, and I hope you, if you do have a horror story, I hope it all worked out. And if it didn't, Let's see if we can get you some help and maybe offer a next YouTube video tutorial. So thanks a lot, guys. Thanks for watching. I'm Mark Amaral from Belvedere Inspections, working out of Montreal, Quebec. Our website will be linked down into the description. It's belvedereinspect.com. Thank you very much.